music, give me the music. Hey, so give me the music, give me the music. The music industry makeover.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Music Industry Makeover. The crew is in the house. Everybody's in the house. What's going on? Yes, man. Hey, DJ Ronnie Ron, Simone, Henry, Rico Gibson, and Vince. Hey, he decided to join us. He's the man behind the scenes. What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Man, Vince like Slim from Cash Money. You don't see Slim with Birdman, but you know Slim be in the background running Cash Money, doing things. And when Slim show up, you know what I'm talking about? That's what Vince reminds me of. Slim like Birdman. You don't see Vince.
You crazy,
Vince be out there working them knobs with them strings.
Man, yes. Well, hey, look, we are here. Spread the word. Tell everybody. M.I.M is on tonight. Have a special guest, Steve Alston, praise and worship leader. So we're gonna be talking with him. Again, thank God for our sponsors. We have Finio Max, SJ Music, musicindustrymakeover.com. Go and check us out. This is our podcast. And Renew Your Mind Records, Life Changers 2020. So yes, go and look and see everything that you see on there. Also, we want to give a shout out to Spectrum. That's right, Spectrum. Hey, go and get that bundle right there, all right? Go get that bundle, contact Patricia. We thank God for her. As well as Goodfella Studios, all right? Jerome, GoodfellaStudios.com. Go and get some great production. And my man, Rain, for real, all facts. I'm going to say facts. I'm going to say all facts. So, facts. All facts. Go and stream his music. We want to thank God for all the artists and all the sponsors on there. What's going on, Danny? How you doing, my brother? Yes, another loyal supporter right there. We thank God for him.
Hey, Danny.
Yes.
What's up, Danny? What's going on, bro?
Go ahead and tell us about SJ Music, Simone.
SJ Music is a coaching and consulting company where I help you to make money with your music, bring in an income by helping you to brand yourself and build up your fan base, right? Without fans, you can't really make any money with your music, with your art. And so visit me at eshemusic.com, ECHE music.com.
Awesome. All right. Rico, go ahead, sir.
So, you know, we actually have In the Box every Friday night at 9 p.m. In the Box is for all creatives. It's where we actually pull people in to interview them that are in the creative space, whether that's music producers, you know, singers, rappers, concert promoters. Eventually I'm going to get some music attorneys in. Tomorrow night we have Bridget Sirius James. She's going to be on. I'm thinking about, I got to get with my co-host Ron. What I'm thinking about, we may do Girl Power for all of July, right? Because we know a lot of people don't kind of reach out and support the women in music. So I'm thinking that if Ron say so, because I was playing with the idea, we're gonna do July's gonna be all women. All our guests are gonna be women for all of July, because I want to be able to help women, support them, what they do. And in their platform. And we have Sunday night, we have Just Life. Just Life is a total different show. It's about people that struggle with anxiety, depression. You know, a lot of times you find yourself going through something and you don't have, sometimes a person can't encourage themselves. Sometimes you get in a funk, or sometimes you just get down. Sometimes you just don't know how to get out of a situation, whether it be marriage, whether it's with your money, your kids acting funny, you're in a transition on a job, you got to downsize your house and you're dealing with, peer pressure. That show is all about life. And I have a co-host, Pastor Ricky Bennett. And this Sunday, we're going to be digging in divorce and about divorce and how to avoid divorce. So that's going to be our first series, man. We're going to start on. So if you're having some issues, man, with that, and you just want to know, even if you are single and you think about getting married, it's a good show to watch so you find yourself so you can avoid certain things. So, but anyway, Just Life.
Awesome. Definitely. So you don't want to miss out on those great shows, okay? Awesome. Yes. Well, hey, again, We hoping you're spreading the word. Hey, Mary, how you doing? Thank you so much. One of all your supporters.
Hey, Mary.
Well, okay, and we're going to get right into it. Yes, Vince, do you want to introduce our guest?
Yeah, man. This guy right here, man. He's first of all, he's my brother. I won't lie to you. But second of all, I knew him when he was playing a Casio, and I know Rico. You remember those little Casio keyboards they playing?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, man, he's a psalmist, musicianist. He has produced, wrote. He's played. He backed up for a few major hitters. All right, and he's doing good things. And just Steve Alston. I know him, but we're going to get to know him now right here on M.I.M.
What's going on, brother?
Hello, can you hear?
Take it off mute.
Can you hear us?
Is it? It's on mute.
We can't hear you, my brother.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh man. Hey. Yes, again, spread the word, guys, out there.
So you might need to cut your mic on, or plug a mic in, or put a headset in. We can't hear you at all. Put your volume on, cut your volume on your computer. Just check your mute on your computer.
Check the mute on the computer.
All right.
Hello? Hold up.
Hello?
Okay.
Look, yeah.
Okay. Let's try to get that. Let's try to fix that.
Definitely.
Okay.
Hey, again, this is the Music Industry Makeover. We want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. All right. Spread the word. We have special guests on there. Okay, Mr. Stephen Alston. Let's see if it's Mike.
We're gonna get him going.
Hello? Still can't hear you. All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but let them handle that down there. But again, we want to thank y'all so much. You know, a lot is going on in the music industry. Things are changing, and we focus on marketing and promotions because that's our forte. This is what we do on here. Okay, and so as we're in this pandemic, this COVID, you all definitely need to look at ways of building your brand. Building who you are as an artist. Okay, this is the perfect time. So, what do you guys think on that as well?
I think you're absolutely right, but I want to say to add a caveat to that. If when you look at the numbers, the numbers are spiking up. You got to prepare yourself for the next 3 to 6 months to how you're going to make money, right? Because in a lot of areas, you don't know if those areas are going to open back up fully or shut back down again. So it's very important for you to jump on your marketing, so that you can kind of set yourself up. You can't make any money if you don't set up an infrastructure, and you want to put yourself in a position. And that's what Simone talks about, S.J. Music. You hear we talk about it. You want to set yourself up so that you can receive profits from what it is that you're doing. If you don't know how to do that, we'll be glad to show you how to do that. We all bring a different tool set to the table. And hey, what's going on, man? Go ahead. Who's that?
His name's not showing up, but he's Leo.
Hey, Leo.
His name is Leo.
Okay, awesome. Hey, you know what? I want to talk about it, especially in gospel music. There was a post earlier, and I had posted on my screen about us making exciting music in gospel music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Enough of this praise and worship and slow music that basically puts you to sleep. We need some exciting music that we can listen to throughout the week. And
you still save if you make exciting music. You can make exciting music and it don't have to be trap. Or you can use a trap drum beat, or the 808s and the kicks. But however that you decide that you want to make it, it's okay. You still save if you make high energy music.
Come on.
Amen.
Seriously. I mean,
in a time like this, we all need to be uplifted, and help having some music with some energy in it is very valuable, I believe, right now.
Yes, it is. Hey, Vince, are y'all ready?
Yeah, you should be ready. I think so.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, brother Steve. Hey, tell him to unmute. So, all right. Hey, Brandy, thank you so much for joining us. All right,
hey, Brandy. Yeah.
Hey, can you hear us? All right, we still can't hear you.
No, still can't hear you, bro.
Wow.
Man, but yeah, we need some upbeat music in gospel music. So yes, the gospel is exciting, but let's make it exciting. Put your flair, your creativity into it. All right.
I'm gonna tell you now, man. With things, the way things are going, you know, people need to hear uplifting music. People need to hear hope. When I'm gonna tell you something. When somebody's dealing with depression, one of the worst things that they could do is listen to music that is melancholy, music that is very slow, and it doesn't, because it helps them to focus on that problem even more, because they're not thinking about the words. A lot of times the music sets a tone, it sets a mindset. That's
Mhm.
why when David was wrestling with a spirit, when Saul used to wrestle with those spirits, David would play for him and to release those spirits, man, to get him free from those spirits, right? So your music is very important. And if you're playing something slow, even if you're trying to get on internet radio, if that person that owns the internet radio are not programming slow music, guess what? They want to sell your music because your music is not formatted correctly. You know, so I guess we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, because I think some of you guys, man, need to really get that.
Really.
You know, too, like when an artist is putting out a new project and they put out the first single, it seems to me like the upbeat single does better than putting out a low energy single to
Correct.
start with, to start that project off with. It's
Right.
usually better to start off putting out a higher energy single.
I totally agree. Yes.
You know, it
I
gets
don't know if you
people
guys
into
noticed
it.
that a lot of artists try to, I mean, right around this time, and I hate to use it around this racial tension, a lot of artists just try to throw out a lot of anger music. You get what I'm saying? And believe it or not, it's easier to lash out and to be frustrated and to lash out, um, that it is to sit down and kind of like say and marinate and say, you know what, I could appreciate or have some balance to your music. So yeah, I see a lot of artists, they rushing to kind of like put out the next best thing right around this moment.
But we talk about gospel artists, though.
Correct. Gospel artists, bro. Yes.
Okay.
Gospel artists. Whether
So
it's,
far, I
yes.
haven't seen any anger music,
Yeah,
but
I
I have
can see
seen,
Oh, they out there. they out there,
yeah.
and it's like, it's like, come on, man,
Mhm.
pause for a minute. And I get it, pandemic, there's a situation here where your label or your company is not, you're not doing any shows, you're stuck in the house, you got to kind of figure it out. So my opinion is just kind of lay back, take a moment, breathe, and ask God to give you, something,
Yeah.
something to
Give you
warm the
some
heart.
words to say rather than just lashing out.
Yeah.
It's ready. I mean, if I guess it's ready. Steve, can you hear us?
No here.
So do you have a headphone, a headset, Steve, that you can plug into your computer? Okay, yeah, go ahead and plug that into your microphone on the side of your computer. Use that. If you have a mic on it, do you have a mic on that headset? Just
Oh, so he can hear us, right?
he can hear us, but you gotta have a microphone. It's best to have a headset that has a built-in microphone, Steve.
Okay. Again, this is the music industry makeover.
Or take your I think your mute is on your computer. On your computer, go to the bottom right. Go to the bottom right of your screen on your computer and see if that sign. Make sure it does not have an X there. Make sure it's on. So you unmute it.
Okay. Yeah.
Or turn your volume up. Try the volume on your computer.
Okay. So while you're getting that,
That's good.
all right, very good. Hey, definitely, because that's what we need. We need more high energy, upbeat, or so, especially in gospel music. All right.
I feel like a lot of artists, they feel like it's their calling to to just calm the people down, or or what do you call it? Make them just make them all fall asleep or something. I don't believe that that's our calling.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna lie.
Or hypnotize the people with all the different
I see everything has its
repetitions.
place where, you know what I'm saying, gospel
I think
music
it's our calling to hypnotize.
have its place.
Can y'all hear me now?
We can
Yeah.
hear
Yeah. What did
Praise
you
the Lord.
do, bro? What did you do, bro?
How y'all doing?
We're
All right.
good.
Hey, we're doing some echo feedback.
I apologize for that. I'm trying to come through my working.
All right.
Yeah, just
Yeah. Yeah, we get some feedback. You need to either turn the monitor down or something.
You still can't hear me?
We can hear you,
Raise
but
your
we're
hand now.
also hearing an echo. We're hearing ourselves.
Yeah.
right. So that means you got a mic up, your mic up too loud, or your monitor is up too loud.
Yeah, there's no mic. I disconnected the monitors. Hold on.
All
How
right,
about
Greg.
now?
Exactly. Yeah.
I honestly
That's
can't
better?
write anything slow at this point because it's depressing when you already have.
Right.
That's exactly right, Brandon.
You're hearing the feedback. There's an echo somewhere.
Is it coming from me?
Hey, I like that. Yeah, it's coming from you, man. None of us else. We good. It's you, brother.
Right. Yes, Randy. There's a season for everything. Exactly.
Not that season. All
Yes.
right now.
And
The last person that said we don't need no music like that, and I agree with that. We don't need that music right now. That is a real comment. Who is that, man? Put your name up, bro. We want to call your name out, bro. Or sis. We don't know which one. Who put your name in there so we can see who said we don't need that music right now. Put your name up there. We want to call your name out.
yeah, seriously.
We acknowledge all the people who give us good comments and good feedback.
Again, hey, if y'all have any questions for us or so, feel free to go ahead. As I say, we are trying to get things situated with our guests. So we have
We're
feedback.
gonna get it worked out. As always, hey man,
Keep it
we're
rolling.
gonna have some grace. We're gonna get it worked out, and we're
Mhm.
gonna have a good show, man. It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah,
Amen.
yeah. Every time we come on, yeah, most definitely. That's how you have
Yeah. Okay.
bumps and bruises in life. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and it's
Gotta roll with the punches.
okay.
You good, Steve?
Yeah, is this still an echo?
Not
Yeah.
as bad, but not as bad.
All right,
I don't know what to tell y'all, man.
all right. We just got to work through it, bro.
I disconnected totally from everything. So all I'm coming from now is my laptop.
All right.
Okay, well, that's good.
That works.
That's better.
Yeah, but if you plug your headphones into your laptop, that should probably do it. Cut out that feedback.
Right. If you put your headphones put your headphones in the laptop and just see.
My headphones don't have a mic though.
No, but your laptop does.
Yeah, head
Try,
first.
just try. You got a mic in your laptop. That's what you're talking to right now.
How's that?
All right. Yeah, that's
Can you-
perfect.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Awesome.
All right. How y'all doing?
What's up now?
Great.
Good. Well, look, we're glad to have you on. Thanks so much for taking this time out. So, Vince tells us that you are a praise and worship leader.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Well, all right.
Just to give a little history about myself, I've been a church musician for about practically most of my life. I started in small, humble beginnings and playing in small churches with population about 50 people. As I progressed through the years, the churches got bigger, and I was in charge of a praise and worship team in a church in Long Island, upper room where the pastor was Tony DiNaprio. It's about 3,000 people. And that's when when I really started to progress in terms of being a musician and just in terms of being exposed to different styles and kinds of music. Prior to that, I was strictly gospel. It was just Fred Hammond, Commission, Kurt Franklin. Being involved in that kind of atmosphere sort of like broadened my horizons and got me just to be able to appreciate different styles, different genres, and different kinds of music. From there, I served there as musical director for about 12 years. And then I went to CCC where the pastor was Pastor A.R. Bernard. They have a Long Island branch, and his son pastored the Long Island branch, and I was the minister of music over there. And I served over there for about 3 years. And now I'm in North Kakalaki, and I'm chilling.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Where at in North Carolina?
Charlotte.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. Queen
Yes,
City.
sir. I'm sorry.
I said Queen City.
All day.
That's what they call it. All right.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, go ahead. I mean, Rico.
No, no, you just said, man. So basically, do you just play piano? Do you play any other instruments other than that? Do you write music? You know, exactly? Tell us a little bit about your music background, and I know that you're a church musician, but what other, you know, what are your other footprints that you have in the music arena? Are you
Yes.
just music? Are you just are you producing music for people or?
Good question. I'm glad you asked that. Yes, I am producer. I am a music producer.
Okay.
I recently switched over to the producing side, like maybe around 10 years ago. And my wife was the actual artist that catapulted that side of my producing. And I've worked with Chrisette Michelle as well. She's a friend of mine. We served in the same church in Long Island,
Oh,
and I wrote something with her back in the day. It never came into fruition, but it was still something that I wrote with her. And she's a good friend. She's a good friend of mine. And now I'm just primarily producing. Like my wife is at the forefront of what I'm producing. And I have a couple of people, clients from New York, from Brooklyn that I'm producing for, so forth and so on, just like that, here and there. But my wife is actually the main artist that I'm pushing right now, and she has content on she has content on every platform. Her name is Andrea Alston. If you got time, just check it out.
Okay, yeah,
She's
yeah,
on
definitely.
she's on iTunes, she's on Apple Music, she's on everything. She's on Google Play, everything. Her name is Andrea Alston. Check her out, and she's dope. And I'm not just saying that because she's my wife, but she's really dope.
so now is this is is your wife the one that that did the jingle for us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Nice
Okay,
voice.
Yes,
yeah,
You
sir.
know,
okay. Love the jingle too, by the way. Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
appreciate that. I didn't hear it too much. I didn't think you guys used it. I started catching feelings a little bit. I'm
you,
just kidding, man.
Well, we're using it. Yeah.
I thought I didn't do a good job, man. I
yeah,
was
you
like,
must
what's going on, man?
have not been watching the show, man. Yeah. Oh man. Oh
Now,
yeah.
now, Steve, I want you to kind of like, a little bit of let's talk about a little bit of the business because I know, we grew up, you played for a church and it was like, okay, pack up and go home. And, pastor just kind of like went about his way. What kind of changed your mind? In other words, what kind of altered your thinking when, as far as the business part of it is concerned, as being a musician in the church, you're saying, wait a minute, I'm playing, it's sweating here, you know what I'm saying? No AC, you ain't give me nothing to drink, anything like that. And, at what point you just said enough is enough, and, you had to kind of like be business about it.
Yeah, well, I don't think that I had that epiphany where I was like enough is enough because I've always been involved in music and I've always loved what I did. But I think there has to be an understanding, especially when you say music business.
Mhm.
There's a business that's attached to the music, whether it be secular, whether it be gospel. Anytime that there's an exchange of currency, you are now doing business. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of times growing up, I know I was naive to that, and I was put in a lot of situations where I was taken advantage of because I didn't understand how it went. And I understood, okay, it was taught to me like you play for God and you play for the Lord, and that's it. That's your reward. But the same person that's giving me that information is getting paid.
Mm,
So I want you stay right there because
mm,
I want to.
mm.
There's a lot of great content in that I want us to dig in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you use the phrase "take advantage of,"
Mm-hmm.
what I want you to do, I want you to itemize those negative advantages that was taken of you.
Good,
And I
Rick.
want you to break that down so that people that are maybe in those situations, they can recognize it. Because sometimes when you have hero worship, when you worship your pastor, and we worship our pastor like we see him as Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
we
Come on,
can't
bro.
see the wrong. So I want you to go back and I want you to talk about that phrase, taken advantage of, and I want you to itemize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you consider being taken advantage of, and I want you to break that down and talk about it.
Okay, now that's a very good question, and I'm glad you asked that. So, number one, taking advantage of, first and foremost, just not receiving any compensation. So you're there Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. You're taking care of this ministry, and when I say taking care of, I mean choir rehearsals, band rehearsals, praise and worship, singing rehearsals. You are going to conferences. You are playing for tent revivals, okay? And you're receiving compensation for any of it, for none of this. And as a young man, it was easier for me to just say, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it for free, because, you know, that was my conviction. This is what was being taught to me. My conviction was, like I said initially, you're playing for God. You're playing for the Lord. So if you were even to ask for compensation, that was sort of like demonized, because you're not supposed to do that
Mm.
as a minstrel, as a
Mm.
church minstrel. You're not supposed to do that. And this is how it was spent, and this is how it was being taught. So that was number one, just showing up to all of these rehearsals, showing up to, I mean, I remember times where I would do like 2-week revivals, right? And we're talking about every single day playing music. And a lot, the misconception or the perception, and a lot of the smaller churches was just that we don't compensate our musicians. You know, the pastor gets paid, maybe the driver can get paid, but the musicians are minstrels. We can't accommodate you guys for that. So as I got older and started really being on my own and having certain bills, I started to get a little more aggressive in terms of in terms of how I utilized my time and how I allowed others to utilize my time. And I just
No.
wouldn't let certain things slide. And because of that, from certain individuals, I was perceived as, oh, he's just all about the cash. He's just all about the money. And that's not really true. And Vincent can attest to this, because I played in church for about 10, 15 years without compensation at all. Because, you
Wow.
know, from my perspective, I was doing God's work. I was doing the Lord's will. And then when I started to investigate, even in scripture, and how the minstrels of the Old Testament were taken care of in terms of having housing and health benefits, if you would, I started to have a different perspective of that. And I started to change. I changed my ideology in terms of how I viewed playing as a church musician in the church. And from then on, you know, God is blessing me, and I've been good.
Uh,
Did that answer your question, brother? I
Oh
felt
yeah.
like I was all around the place, but
No, you good. You dead on it, bro.
Hold
okay.
on. Hey, this is the Music Industry Makeover. Again, we're talking with Stephen Alston, all right, a minister of music. If you're a minister of music out there, you have some questions that you would like to ask him, or so feel free, or any comments, all right, because a lot of people have gone through what and still are going through what he has gone through, all right, and so we don't talk about subjects like this a lot, and that's why we have to be transparent. Because really, as the musician, you're working for the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
The church is a business, a nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
So you are rendering a service. So yes, a musician should get paid if they're expected to be at rehearsals, at tent meetings or revivals or so every Sunday night or so. They should get paid. That is a job. But
So
And as an organization, I think you should want to take care of the individuals that are taking care of you. They're
Absolutely.
taking care of your needs. So I don't understand why anyone would have an issue with that. But like I said, it's ideology. It's the way we were taught. It's the way we think. And particularly, like I noticed the difference between the small church mentality and the larger church. The larger church had no problems compensating me. And one may say, well, because the larger church has the resources. But no, but that's not necessarily true. I've seen smaller churches that make provision to have musicians, because they have paid musicians on staff because they understand the importance of music in the church. It's
So
very important.
I got a question.
Uh huh.
While you was playing in that church and not really being compensated, did other pastors from other ministries actually invite you over to play at their revivals or their outings? Did they offer to pay you, or did your pastor even allow you to go out and play for other churches that maybe that was under the covering or they was in covenant with?
Great question, and that's actually how it started with me because I was playing all of these years for free, and then other pastors would come, the visiting ministries, and they would hear me play, and they're like, "Wow, well, can you come play for my church, and I'll compensate you?" And that opened up an entire new world. I was like, "Wait a minute, you can get paid for this." You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it opened up an entirely different world and allowed me to have a different perspective, not being money hungry, because money hungry had nothing to do with that, but just being compensated and say, "Here, I appreciate what you did, I appreciate what you're doing, I appreciate your gift." There's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate your ministry. I appreciate you helping us out. I appreciate you allowing God to use you to take this music ministry to another level. There's nothing wrong with that. So that aspect started to grow in terms of pastors always coming and wanting me to play. But I was still faithful. Now check it out. I was still faithful to my home church, that home ministry. I would just play in other churches because we had church about 2:30 in the afternoon. The average church has church 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. So that did allow me to just go out into different avenues and be compensated for my gift and play for other churches. But yeah.
Um, yeah. One Facebook user said, "Is this a Baptist church or so?"
No, it was non-denominational.
Wow.
Yeah, I've played in Baptist churches, and again, Baptist churches didn't have any problem compensating.
Hey,
I didn't even have to ask.
I like what my man Danny says too. White
Yeah,
folks pay their musicians, and that's a
yeah.
real fact.
Say
Wow.
that again. Say that. I didn't
Wow.
hear that.
Yeah,
It's right there on the screen. White folks pay
paying,
their musicians.
yeah. It's
And
just
yeah,
we got a problem paying our own musicians.
but
It's a
why? But what?
mentality. It's a different mentality,
That's
right?
what I said.
Mentality.
Yeah.
Put it in the budget. It's part of the budget. It's part of you pay the light bill, you pay the rent, you pay the
Hey, now,
water, you pay the musicians, you pay the
That's right.
pastor.
That's
now
It
right.
should
listen.
just be part of the budget.
Now I think,
I won't, Steve, I won't mention names, but I won't call out, throw people under the bus. But last
Please
week we
don't.
was talking, and I think last week we was talking, and you was telling me a story how this certain pastor you was doing certain funerals in the summer. You was doing at least a dozen of those suckers. And then you saw him walk out the door and he was counting, you
Yeah.
know, he
Wow.
was
Yeah.
counting. And you was like, yo, hold up here. Wait a minute. I got this keyboard. You understand?
You know what it is. You know what it is. V. People will treat you
That's right, Diallo.
how you allow them, as much as you allow them.
Absolutely.
They will take advantage if you continue to let them. They will.
That's
That's
true.
just the condition of the human. That's just the human condition. When they
Mhm.
see opportunity, some people. I'm not going to say all, but some people they take advantage of that opportunity, and it's unfortunate that a lot of young guys are coming up, and these cats are talented, and a lot of these organizations will see fit to just try and take advantage of that, and that's not right. That's not right. Listen, you pay everybody else, like the sister says, Sister Simone. You pay everybody else. Put that in the budget. And we as black folk, being that you mentioned that, have to really really change our mentality.
Absolutely.
Why is it that
It
a
needs to be
lot
a
of the
mindset
white
shift.
ministries understand the importance of the music in the church?
Mm.
but I,
They understand that music has the drawing power. Music is
Mhm.
powerful. That element that a lot of people of color or ministers of color miss is that you understand that music is powerful. You understand that your church will probably not have gone as far as it has it gone if it had not been for the music. So why are you so reluctant to
Mm.
honor that and pay You know,
Hold on
you
one
know.
second. Hey, go ahead, Rico. Go ahead.
What I want to speak to, man, it's a black culture. When I say it's black culture, because it's not just the church. I've for every black person that I've ever worked for
Mm,
that was making money, it was always an issue when it's time to get paid.
mm,
It was always an issue with the amount that you was going to get paid. It
Right.
was always an issue if they agreed to something up front. When it was time to divvy out, something else changes. So I don't think it's just. I think it's black culture. You know,
well,
when it comes to being a business owner, a lot of black businesses, when they have employees, they don't pay their employees good wages because they look at trying to recoup more, right? And so, what I think that's something that's in our culture. We have to work on that. It's the church is just one component of that, but it's really like that in black culture.
so Rico, let me ask you a question, and I think this I can ask everyone on the panel a question. Where does that come from? Everything has an origin. Where does that mentality come from within our culture?
I I, I
I,
think I
Poverty
say
mindset.
I say a poverty, but I say it comes from slavery, man.
Right.
I,
I mean, we
it's
were always the ones getting the leftovers
Mm-hmm.
or
and
had nothing to begin with, or even today, black people are paid less than white people. Women are paid less than men. And then so if you're paid less for the same job that your brother man over here in the white skin is being paid, well then you have less to work with. And so then your money it doesn't go as far. Plus, we get redlined with insurance. We get charged higher interest rates when we go to get loans. We end up we get less to begin with for the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that less, we have to stretch it further.
Mm-hmm.
And so we end up with a poverty mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then part of it too,
I want to
like,
I want to. Go ahead.
oh, and then hold on. The fact is too, when I said I think it comes from sin because it's kind of like manipulation too. If you know this person is very good and it's helping you out, but you want to pay them pennies or take advantage of them,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's not right morally. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, go ahead.
I think a large part of that is not having the education of understanding business. Because
That too.
when you're for an example, when you're a car mechanic and you have a mechanic shop, cars are really advanced in technology, and if you want to have a mechanic shop, you have to go and you have to spend money for the equipment, the tools, and the diagnostic to get the right diagnosis of the car. And I
Absolutely.
think that when it comes to buying products, black people are not used to buying in bulk. So,
Mm.
and for an example, I remember a guy had a business to where he was selling, school duck head shorts or Dickies shorts, right? But he was charging $35 for a pair of shorts. The outlet, you can buy those shorts for $16, right? So you drive 5 miles, and why would I pay you $35 just because you're black
Mm.
when I can go down to the outlet and get them for 15? So then, as a black business owner or as a business owner, period, you need to learn how to buy in bulk. Because I used to have a clothing shop, garment shop. You have to get a license. If you have a license, that allow you to be able to go to certain stores. And if you have a large sum of cash, you can buy in bulk, and your price point will be a lot lower when you sell it. But I think that black people don't really the ones that are in business don't really understand that. And they're looking at, well, man, I don't want to save with $5,000. I don't want to save with $20,000 to be able to get this price point. I'm gonna go down here and get the same Dickies shorts from the outlet, and I'm gonna come back up here and just charge double for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then anybody that don't know about this outlet, I'm just gonna get over. That's
Yeah.
not how you do business.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think I think the other part of and add to Rico, supply and demand. That's a key word we're missing here. Supply and
Mhm.
demand. Example: more white churches understand the supply. You understand, and their audience, of course, it's they want the audience to come in. So that's a part of their supply and demand philosophy. Whereas some black churches, they don't understand that concept of like, hey, listen, this. In other words, we need this musician here. You understand? To usher in the presence, or to have this church, a proper church service. So what they do is just say, okay, whatever. You understand? Come in, do what you got to do, and and be gone. And collect the offering. But they don't understand the whole mentality of supply and demand. That's the country. This country is built on it. You understand? When you go into Walmart, it's almost like supply and demand. You understand? They buy it in bulk, like Rico was saying, and then they sell it at a cheaper price. But unfortunately, our people come along and they say, hey, well, hey, listen, the TV is $600. These guys done bought it in bulks for like three half that price.
Hey, let's answer.
I want to make two other points too. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, one is that I think another problem that the churches have is that they devalue music. Music is being devalued all over the world especially ever since iTunes came along and set the price of a song at 99 cents. So, and now we have streaming where you don't even have to plunk down 99 cents to get good music. You can listen to as much as you want all day, all night if you want to for just $9.99 a month, right? We don't care whether the artist gets paid or not. We just want to be able to listen to our music. There's that. And then there's also, speaking about entrepreneurship and owning a business, we don't educate ourselves about money and how it works and how debt works and interest rates and buying in bulk and buying, making a full payment rather than making payments little by little monthly. We go to a store and they tell us, oh, well, the monthly payment is this. And we never ask them, well, how much is the thing once I'm done with all these payments? Maybe if I pay you the whole thing, I'm actually paying less. We don't necessarily think about that all the time. And too often we think about now, how I'm going to feel now, rather than what is this thing that I'm paying for or buying, or how is that going to affect my future? We want to know, how does this make me feel now?
That's right.
All right. Hey, let's get to this question right here. All right, Mr. Alston, you can answer that.
I'm curious if Mr. Alston ever wrote music that the church used but never compensated him for. Actually, it wasn't necessarily music for a church service. I used to play for choir, and they recorded an album that I played on, and one of my songs was featured. But at the last minute on the editing floor, it got cut. So I was compensated for the live concert introducing the album, but my song got cut. So no, to answer your question.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That means you're not missing out on any royalties right now.
Right.
Well, yeah, that is good.
Brandy had a question. Go back to Brandy's question.
Oh, this isn't a question I didn't understand years ago, but now I get that I'm older.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Again, any questions, feel free to ask us here. And again, we have our guest Stephen Alston on with us, praise and worship minister of music here. And I know there's a lot of minister of music out, musicians that are out there watching. So, and I know you have gone through some of the things that he has mentioned. And no, it's definitely not right. You as a musician should be paid for, especially if you're going to fill out a 1099 form as well too.
Yeah, and I wanted to make this point, if I could, while we're waiting on the question, is that I think it's very important that my experiences dealing with the church and dealing with different ones taking advantage, it didn't make me bitter.
That's good.
And I think that's very important, because I know a lot of the younger guys are a little misguided. Those experiences made me who I am, and I appreciate that. And they made me stronger. They made me have tougher skin, and that's funny. Think about that concept, that even in church, in the business of church, you have to have tough skin.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean that is a concept that before, when I didn't know it, it blew my mind when I learned it. I said, wow, because people, especially when I started playing at the bigger churches, and then you're dealing with attitudes, you're dealing with different ideologies, you're dealing with because we as musicians or we as black people, we're not monolithic, right? We all don't think the same.
Right.
Everybody had, I mean, if you don't believe that, just go to your nearest barber shop and listen to the conversation. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a difference of opinion. But when it comes to spirituality and when it comes to actually the Christian side, we should be thinking the same. I don't mind if you have a difference of opinion when it comes to what the style of music and what kind of music should be played in the church. But in terms of the core Christian values, like not taking advantage of people, I think we should all have that same mentality. I mean, it's just it seems like it's so easy to me. And some people find it hard to grasp that concept. But to me, it's like 1, 2, 3. You do something, you render a service, you get paid for it. That's it. It should be the end of the story. But it's unfortunately it's not like that. And that's why I asked that question, where did it start? How did we get here as a people? Because if we don't understand the origin, we're doomed to repeat it. And we'll stay in that same mentality over and over and find ourselves never getting anywhere, never progressing. And then on the other hand, you'll see the white Christians, they're progressing, they're doing big things. And I'm not saying that the black ones aren't, because you have a lot of the black ministers that are blowing up, that are doing the right thing by the musicians, but it shouldn't be foreign to church organizations to want to take care of their musicians. That's all I'm saying.
But you got to also understand there's another component to the white evangelicals, because there's still some privilege in that as well, that they have access to more resources. It's kind of not the same, but the thing is if somebody worked for me, I always say this, man, when I talk to people, I don't want your money. I want my money, right? But if I owe you something, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make money off your back. If I'm coming to you and you're making me t-shirts, I'm making all the money. I'm not gonna do you like that, right? If you're the person that's doing all the work, man, matter of fact, you should get most of the money. And I think that people are beginning to wake up now, because the prosperity gospel has really awakened a lot of people, because a lot of this story, and I can say social media, internet, a lot of that, man, has started popping that stuff open and exposed, because people are now waking up saying like, man, you saying you don't have no money, but man, when I go to your house, like, man, you got a $3 million crib, you got a Jaguar, you got a Porsche, you got this, but you want me, I got to pay my light bill, and you trying to embarrass me in church because I ain't paying you tithe money. So I think a lot of that is coming out, but I think these little talks kind of help, because you being a church musician, because I know a lot of people, bro, like right now, because I've heard a lot of people say, man, I ain't going to pay no musician again. Just like then, I'd rather just buy tracks. You have the money, you just don't want to pay people. And then those people you got to cut away from. I don't want to work with nobody. I don't want to be connected to nobody that don't want me to prosper. And I know they're prospering, and they don't want me to prosper. I'm going to disconnect from you. That's that answer. Well, I'm going to pray for you. Yeah. I'm going to pray for you, but I'm going to disconnect from you.
I think you have no idea how many people have a problem with what you just said.
I
love from a distance.
People were saying earlier, though, is again, people will treat you how the way you allow them to.
Absolutely.
So that's where you have to be intentional about your business and say, no, I'm not going to do this for you unless you pay me X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? And then have a contract or so.
Absolutely. Enough musicians do that, then that church they'll finally get the message.
Right.
It's about knowing. I'm sorry, V. I just want to say this before I forget it. It's about knowing your value, right? Knowing your value. Right. I hate it. Like, so say like if you had a business, Brother Rico, I'm saying you had a business, right? And you touched on it.
Thank you, Brand.
You all right? Selling keyboards, and I'll say keyboards because I'm a musician. You manufacture these keyboards. You take all the risk associated with the cost of making these keyboards, right? You have a price. I come to you, I say, Rico, man, how much for this keyboard right here? You tell me $500. Mm-hmm. Now, if I said, come on, bro, 500? Nah, I do it for $250. I'm not really respecting what you had to undergo or go through in order to manufacture that. I'm just looking for the hookup. And this is the mentality that we in the churches. Like I remember one time I was talking to a pastor individual, and I told him my price. And he's like, no man, I'm not paying. That's too much. Well, then that can't come. I can't come. If you think that that's too much, now, if we as musicians, we're not in the business of robbing the church. I mean, I've never given a price that's unreasonable. And I'm the type of dude that I work with individuals and stuff like that, just depending on the situation and stuff like that. But when you tell me, oh no, that's too much, then you devalue my gift. I know what I had to go through in order for this gift to fully come into fruition.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I know what I know the countless nights I stayed up practicing, doing scales, doing chord changes. I know the kind of schooling I had to endure to go through to cultivate my gift. So therefore, me knowing that, I know my value. I know how much I'm worth. Know how much you're worth.
Me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's that backwards mentality I was talking about.
That's
They'll
right.
buy what they want and
And
beg for what they need.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I know when you guys get a chance, man.
That's right.
One
That's
year,
90%
one time, I was looking up how Catholic churches pay. You understand? They pay way more than white evangelical churches.
They got health benefits. They got
the whole 9 yards.
Come on, bro.
In fact, they applied for that pay protection program for
it's a resource
Corona.
Thing too.
Yeah,
it's a resource
because
thing too. Like I think Ronnie was saying it. Rico was saying it. All of y'all was saying it. It's a resource thing sometimes. But we do have the resources are available to us.
Right.
We just don't want to take the time to investigate how to get it.
Right.
And how to apportion them properly and to, like, I don't know who said it, pay for what they want and beg for what they need.
Exactly.
How about we prioritize things properly so that we have the money to get what we need?
And this is a prime example with this comment right here. The same church that won't pay the musicians, but they will pay for a major act to minister.
Right.
Wow.
And the only reason they do that is to draw a crowd. Well, guess what?
Right.
That crowd is going to come for that one concert and then disappear, and there's nothing at your church to keep people coming.
Exactly.
But what they're looking for is the pot. They're looking for that big take. They're trying to say, well, if I can get them the X amount of dollars, and I can maybe do this and do this. We can raise offering. We can
see the value in them.
They see the value in it, right?
I'm gonna put it out there. Fred Hammond. I heard the story before I came down here. Fred Hammond came to Orlando. They didn't have his money. You know what he did? Packed up and he left. He said, "Yo, I got this group right here. You understand? Y'all don't have my money. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm moving on."
Do that, but I know John P. Key did that.
Independent artists need to do the same thing.
And you know what? Shirley Caesar did it too. Shirley Caesar did it too many years ago, and she was packing. You understand? So, but Steve, let me ask this question real quick. So, is it by handshake or is it by they offer you a contract? When you playing at different churches and so on and so forth, because that's interesting. A lot of pastors be like, let us pray on it. And then.
Well, that's a great question. Well, and this is why I can speak from both sides of the spectrum, is because I played for small churches and I played for big churches, and trust me, there's a different mentality. So with the smaller churches, it was more of a verbal agreement, handshake, blah 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 blah. All right, we're going to pay you this amount, and that was agreed. With the bigger churches, it was a verbal agreement and then some. So there was some paperwork you had to fill out for tax purposes,
right?
For different things like that. Like they didn't necessarily pay health benefits, but you were responsible for paying your taxes, and you had to fill out a 401. You had to fill out paperwork, and so like I said, it wasn't necessarily a contract per se. But it was just you definitely felt the difference in terms of the bigger ones tending to be a little more professional, and in terms of how they handle business.
Because contracts, man, protect you and it protects the person that's signing the contract.
It does.
Right? Because it spells out what both parties expect of each other. So there's not a disagreement. And that's all a contract is. It's so that you both have an understanding that if something happens down the road, nobody has amnesia. You can pull this out. What it says here, line 3.
That's
This is
right.
what it is. So
And people don't realize the Bible is full of contracts. So let's not
Yes,
get
it
it
is.
twisted. Let's
Yes,
not
it
get
is.
it
You're
twisted.
a contract
Okay.
with God.
Yes. So if you're opposed
That's
to
what the
oh
Bible
contract is not
is.
of God, you're a liar. That's not true.
Well, the thing is, if somebody is unwilling to sign a contract and all they're going to say is, and they're saying, okay, well, let's pray on it, or I give you my word and I stand on my word and this, that, and the other thing, take that as a sign that they have absolutely no intention of fulfilling that contract
Yeah.
and now on the
and turn
other
around
end,
and walk away.
I'm gonna tell you the bad end about a contract, because now a contract not only does it solidify what the terms are, but a contract kind of glues you to another person, just like they're glued to you. And some people you don't want to be glued to,
Yeah.
right? So you have to think about that, because sometimes there are some people that I would not give them a contract because I don't want to be connected to them like that on a long term.
Mm.
Right.
Well, in that case, then whether to sign it or not.
That's right.
Or
Mhm.
at least read and be specific and say you got to alter this right here, make these changes
Exactly.
right here. You know.
Negotiate.
Yeah. Every contract has contingencies, right?
Right.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
I'll do X, Y, Z, and this can get me terminated, or this can make the contract null and void if this occurs. So you got to
Absolutely.
have those stipulations within contracts as well. But I agree. I think contracts make it clear. That there is no guessing of what my expectations are, and I shouldn't have to guess
There you
what
go.
your expectations are. It's written in black and white. And now we can coexist. We can do business because nothing is left under the table. Everything is
Absolutely.
out. The Bible says, and let us be men. In business, let us be men.
Let's
Or woman, but it's just saying be honorable and have integrity in your business dealings. And a lot of people, and
Absolutely.
a lot of organizations aren't doing that. I'm sorry, and I don't want to sound like I'm bashing the
Hey,
church.
tell it
You know
like
what I'm saying? But
But
the truth,
this is
but
a
the truth has to
learning,
be told. The truth
yeah, this
has
is
to be
right?
told.
We all have to
Let's be
learn,
honest. Let's
right?
be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure that there may be some people who are either watching now or will watch the replay who have never experienced this,
Mm-hmm.
who are going into this arena. They need to know. Knowledge is power. If they can learn from your experience and don't have to go through it, well, then
That's
you've
right.
done your job,
That's right.
right?
Or
And they have been saved from this situation.
That's
they're
right.
going through it right now and they feel convicted because they want to say something and won't say nothing
That's
because
what
they
it
feel
is.
they don't want to be demonized. And sometimes, man, you just got to get demonized.
Come on,
Right.
brother.
Some people think it's wrong to stand up for themselves. It's not
Hmm.
wrong to stand up for
not
yourself.
wrong to stand up for yourself.
Stand up for yourself.
I
and
like
and we have a false conception of what humility is. Humility
Yes.
is not being passive and weak and
Absolutely.
Right.
allowing people to just walk over. That's the
Speak it.
false that's not what humility is.
that's
And
good.
unfortunately that's how we've been taught, and that's our
Mm.
thinking. If I ask for compensation, I'm not being humble.
Mm.
Mm. See,
That's not good.
that is a lie.
Right. They used to say meek does not equal weak.
Thank you. I like that. Can I use it?
Absolutely.
Come on now. Again, this industry makeover. Come on every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our guest is Stephen Alston. Got any questions? We got a few minutes. Hey, feel free to ask him. Again, hey, we're dropping some nuggets here for you. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of church musicians, as we said earlier, that are going through or have been through what he's doing. And Brother Steve, like I said, you are helping folks out there.
I
You know,
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
we need to put or talk about the elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying? Why are we taking advantage of musicians or just people in the body of Christ anyways? We shouldn't be taking advantage of nobody. That's not
The
Christ.
Bible says
No.
that we
We
have to
And,
deal
be
with each
honest.
other in love.
I
The
thank
Bible,
God.
That's what the
I
Bible says.
thank God for this. I thank God for the platform that you guys are creating, because it opens up a room for discussion. And I think more discussion needs to be had, especially with this topic in particular. I think we've swept it under the rug too long,
Yeah.
and it really needs to be at the forefront now, because it's something that's affecting us.
the Bible says that we have to be harmless as doves but wise as serpents,
That's
Yes.
right.
right? So
Yes.
that means you can, if somebody is doing something wrong to you, you don't have to continue to let them wrong you in order to feel as though Jesus is just going to bless you.
That's
You
right.
know,
Right.
there's some things that are out of your control that you have no control over. You know, if you're living in an apartment building, you don't make enough money, and the guy won't come on time and keep fixing stuff that's broken down. That's a little different. But when you have it in your power to
Amen.
make a
Amen, baby.
decision to
Thank you.
change your situation,
Thank
man,
you,
you
bro.
make that decision.
Thank you. Thank
Exactly.
You know, the deep thing is that a lot of musicians have left the faith. Not leaving the church is one thing, because you can find another church that's suited for you, that's cut out for you. But a lot of musicians have left the faith. Period. You understand? They said, you know what? Nah. And it's amazing how you, Steve, how you still maintain, your relationship with God.
Amen.
Through all
Yeah,
that,
because
because a lot
because
of, yeah.
because you know what, and that's very important, B. Because you know why, me getting paid or not getting paid has nothing to do with my heart condition,
Mm.
Mhm.
and my relationship that I have. And like I said in the
Amen.
beginning, it's very important. It was very important, and I can't say this enough. If you are going through these situations now, it's very important not to get bitter about it. Take this
Yes.
experience and learn from it,
Learn from
and
it and
allow it
grow.
and allow it right and allow it to make you. Everything should undergo evolution, and we undergo evolution every single day, where we're constantly changing. We're constantly. The only thing that doesn't change is the word and God. So, but we do. You understand? So take that experience and grow from it, but don't allow it to get you bitter. And I thank God that I had a relationship prior to me being a musician in a church,
Amen.
because that rooted and grounded me.
Mhm.
And I feel like it was rooted and grounded, and my experiences made me who I am today.
I think that's very key, because I feel like so many people, the church wrongs them in so many different ways. They have so many negative experiences in the church. And when they see the pastor doing wrong, or they see the ministers, all these, other different people are doing wrong, and people hurt them, they don't blame those people. They blame God. And then so they
Yeah,
leave God.
yeah,
Yes.
God is not
And
the
it
one
ain't
who wronged you.
right.
Right.
Jesus
We do
didn't
not
do it.
wrestle against flesh and blood.
flesh
That's
and
what the
blood.
Bible says. We don't
That's
wrestle
right.
against flesh and blood.
Yeah.
People turn themselves over to be used by Satan on
That's
the
right.
regular,
That's right. That's
So
right.
don't blame the people. Don't blame God. God
Yeah,
is not hurt. He loves you more than your mama loves you.
That's right.
Okay?
yeah, Jesus is not the one that's doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
Your relationship with Jesus should trump any negative that you have in your life,
That's good.
right? And
Yeah.
understanding that it's people that's doing that. That pastor, or that person at your job, or that whomever, they made a choice. It's
That's
not
right.
Jesus.
That's right.
Amen. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is who I think it is. My man Chris Sims from Miami there. He says it's also about respect. Do you respect me enough to value my time? It
Hmm.
frustrates me, many of us who are faithful, and we have to fight for compensation for our time. Then
Hmm.
in front of our faces, call in someone else. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
I
that is
love
yeah.
it.
right. That is
That's
not
I
the
It's
love it.
sad
that's
and it's
that's
hurtful.
that's to be condescending. That, you know what I'm saying, to put you in your place. And when
Hmm.
you and that's a mind game in the in ministries.
Yes, it
It's,
is.
it's,
Yeah.
it's a mind game. That's a
Thank
mind
you.
Let it
game right
strengthen
Thank
you.
you.
that's
Mm.
good. That's good. That's right. Most they suffer from plantation mentalities. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, and again, that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know,
Yeah. That's
person,
very sad.
and that's one person that's not in the kingdom. I mean, preferably that they'll come back, but it's like we have to be careful how we treat one another.
That's
Right.
right. That's
That's
right.
You
right.
may want to turn your back on that church, but don't turn your back on God.
No,
right.
don't.
That's
Because
right.
you can
That's
find
right.
another ministry, man. You can,
Absolutely.
That's
and
right.
home churches, man, are growing right now. I think right now the best place for anybody, man, is a home church. So you can
Yeah.
get in and you can learn. You know what I mean? Get away from the big hoopla. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because the world is changing now.
Yeah.
We have to teach people to be more responsible with their finances, and that's what music industry makeover. That's what Simone does. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we marketing and branding, but amidst of that, we're teaching you how to be responsible with your finances, because we talk about this stuff. We talk about you investing in yourself. As long as you wait for someone to do something for you, they're gonna always have control over you
That's good.
because it's their money,
Good stuff. Good
right?
stuff.
And a way that you can stop that is spend your own money. But the way that you're going to be able to have your own money to spend, you got to make good business sense You know, you got to save your money. You got to stop spending. You just got to do decisions. You got to make decisions that make sense.
Which means you got to learn the business, learn the music business.
Absolutely.
Okay. Again, you know, you can speak in tongues all you want to, but if it's education. We're trying to spiritualize everything, so that seriously, learn the business.
Rico
Absolutely.
last week said, God didn't tell you that. You did it, man. That was on you.
Right, right. That was all you.
That's on you.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Awesome, man. But Steve, we sure appreciate you being on. So, is there a website? Well, you know, you are a producer, as you said. So, do you have a website or anything?
Yeah, well, you could go on AndreaAlstonmusic.com. And like I said, she is on, like, I'm primarily backing my wife because that's my ministry. That's my first ministry. So I got to do right by her. And if I don't do right by her, I can't really sleep well at night.
Is it AndreaAlstonmusic.com?
Yes, yes, sir.
ANDREA.
ANDRIA.
Okay,
Oh,
ANDRIA.
okay.
Okay, gotcha. Awesome, awesome.
Look that
And
up.
like I said, if you know, if you wanted to hear what I produced for her, she's on every platform. She's on Apple Music. She's on Spotify. She's on. She has a YouTube channel. Just look her
Oh,
up.
there she is,
And
right there. What's up, Steve?
there
Hey,
she goes.
Hi,
There she
Andrea.
goes. Yeah,
And
that's
Decided to
my
stop throw.
baby.
matter of fact, you know what? Hey, let's hear her right now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know, hey,
Hey, Andrea, are you here?
yeah, let's hear. Hold on, no, here.
Just give me the music, give me the music. Hey, just give me the music, give me the music. The music industry makeover.
Yes,
Beautiful.
sir. I really enjoyed doing that, man. And you know, my wife came down, and this is where the magic happens. It's, you know, right in my house, we got everything hooked up, and she came down and she really blessed that track. I really have fun doing that, guys.
We
Really
love
fun.
the track.
We love it.
Thank
Man,
you.
yeah,
Thank
we
you.
love it, man.
It's
Thank you.
catchy.
It
Thank
is.
you.
It is.
Very catchy. Yeah, man. You gave us our theme song, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Man,
here, like I was telling Ron. You know, anything you guys need, man. I love this platform. I love what you guys are doing. Anything you need, I'm here, brothers and sisters.
all right.
Appreciate
Hey,
that.
Yes, sir.
wow.
Man, we appreciate that, brother.
No
Well,
problem.
well, again, we want go to AndreaAustinmusic.com. And those who have a show, you're a DJ out there that's checking us out. Hey, go and solicit music right there. Hey, because again, we want to support quality artists.
That's right.
And you just heard for yourself. And I get submissions all the time, and some of it is not good, unfortunately. All right, you know, it is what it is. Perfect your craft. Be
That's
serious
right.
what it is that you're trying to do. Okay, just because you sing Jesus or so doesn't mean that folks are going to automatically like it.
That's right.
Right. So, awesome, man. Guys, any last words y'all want to say?
Don't forget about In the Box tomorrow night, man, at 9 p.m. and Just Life 8 p.m. on Sunday.
All right. Yep. Well,
We are here to help you to promote and grow your music ministry while not depending on churches or radio stations or any other gatekeepers in the music industry. We are here to help you. So give us a call and let's see what we can do for you.
that's it. Music industry.
Yeah, music industry makeover. Yeah, a lot of little goodies we gonna be giving away soon this summer. We got little hats, cups, and these hats going on. So watch out for the merch site on music www.musicindustrymakeover.com. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Yeah. Brother Steve, yeah. Any last words? Sorry, I should have started off with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to come and share with you guys. I had a blast. I hope we can do it again.
Yes.
Yeah, just listen out for like I said again, Andrea Music. Andrea Alston Music. We have a lot of things coming out as well. We're in the process of doing another LP, so just look out and listen for that. And that's all I got.
Awesome. And remember, guys, you matter in the kingdom of God. So don't compare yourself or your ministry to anyone else out there. Just do what God's called you to do, and you will be just fine. All right. God bless you. We love you. Be safe out there. And
Yes,
hey,
sir.
we'll see you again, Lord's willing, next week. Peace. Salute.
Peace.
Yep.
God bless you guys.
Let's hear the song one more again.